Johnson, you said last night that New Zealand, in terms of free trade, would be very close to the front of the queue.
At or near to, yes, I think that's...
At or near to
yes.
the front of the queue. So how are you going to please British farmers who don't like the idea of our sheep meat and butter coming into Britain? And with the Irish, will you still be able to do a deal with them in that they will remain with the EU?
Well, as you know, we already are the proud and grateful recipients of quite a lot of New Zealand sheep meat and indeed butter. I think my grandmother would buy absolutely nothing else but Anchor butter, I want you to know, as a mark of political principle, I seem to recall. And we are well, that will of course continue. I think the key thing to stress here is that no one's going to be any worse off. No party in the deal that we're going to do is going to be any worse off. We're going to get a great deal that works for everybody.
What about the Irish?
Including them, perhaps particularly them.
The next question is from Tracy Watkins from Stuff for the Foreign Secretary. Foreign Secretary, I was just going to ask you further about the people-to-people dialogue.
Yes.
And that sort of freedom of travel
yes.
through the UK. I guess one of the things most Kiwis would want to know in that sort of post-Brexit world is, can we actually expect greater access after that? And what guarantees can you give that actually the current rules around ancestry visas and working holidays won't be made harder rather than easier, given the current mood against immigration in the UK?
Right. Well, the first thing to say is that I used to be the mayor of London, which was a city that I think a bit like Auckland actually was incredibly diverse, multi-racial, all the rest of it, and in my view benefited from being open to talent. 40% of Londoners are born abroad. I think it's 43% of people of Auckland. I think being open to talent is a great thing, but in any society you've got to manage it and you've got to control it. And people have got a democratic right to feel that their government is in charge of the situation. And that was a bit what the whole Brexit thing was about. It wasn't that people were hostile to immigrants. They weren't hostile to people with talent and energy coming to the UK. They just wanted to feel that the British government had a handle on it. And that's what we're going to do. And that does not mean that we are in any way going to make life, to get to your point, more difficult for New Zealanders. On the contrary, we massively value, we love Kiwis coming to our country, and it makes a huge difference to our economy that we have people of talent and ambition who want to come, and even if it's only for a short time, and then go back again. So on the ancestry visas and the overseas experience and stuff like that, no, we will want to maintain a regime that is at least as attractive as the current regime, and we will want to maintain a policy of openness and engagement. If I can just make one thing absolutely clear, I say this when I'm blue in the face: Brexit was not, will not be about Britain turning away from the world. On the contrary, it is about us wanting to, of course, to keep great relations with our European friends and partners and to do a great free trade deal with them. But it is also about rediscovering and intensifying friendships and partnerships around the world. And as I said last night, in trying to do that, we see New Zealanders at or near the front of the queue.
The third question is from Ana da Costa of Reuters for the Foreign Secretary.
Hi there. I'm wondering to what extent you think that infighting in the Conservative Party at the moment might compromise a deal before the 2-year you have until you put forward exits.
Well, you know, I have to say, I don't wish in any way to sound complacent, but I've been travelling in Japan and now in beautiful New Zealand, and any such activities completely pass me by. I don't, but nor am I aware that no one has sent me news of any such any such infighting. I don't think what you have is a government that is determined. Let's be clear: the election did not evolve entirely in the way that the government had hoped or would have wanted. Okay, I'm going to put that out there. But the Labour Party did not win. They're 56 seats behind. We have a workable system of getting stuff through the House of Commons. We have a workable majority. With our friends from Northern Ireland, we are getting on with the business of governing, which is overwhelmingly what the British people want to see. And I think our friends and partners around the world can be confident that we're going to get this thing done and done in style.
The final question is again for you, Foreign Secretary, from Patrick.
Well, I think Jerry could have answered the last one.
Not from this guy.
A question for the Foreign Secretary. I'm not sure if you heard yesterday, but at the Puki Ahu Memorial, an Englishman, a man, actually called out Boris 4 p.m. So my question is, can you rule out challenging for the Tory leadership or taking the Tory leadership in some other form this parliamentary term?
Well, I don't know whether you were as eagle-eyed as I was at that wonderful ceremony yesterday, but I also spotted a protester who took a diametrically opposite view. I refer to the answer I gave to Reuters just a moment or two ago. What the British people want to see is a government that gets on with the job. They've got that. With Theresa, and we are going to deliver a great Brexit deal, a deal that works for our European friends, for the UK, but also, of course, works for New Zealand.
Yes, but do you rule out a challenge or taking the Tory leadership?
Look, what the British people want to see is us getting on with the job, and they see no vacancy, nor do they see any need for any more political kerfuffle.
Thank you, Foreign Secretary. That wraps up this media conference.
Thank you.
I'd ask that the media remain seated while the Foreign Secretary and Minister Brown make depart.